Jamil Jaffer is here. He's the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute. So, Jamil, first of all, do you agree that Iran could place blame for this crash on one of its adversaries?
Well, certainly they could point fingers at Israel and say that this was retaliation for the 300 missiles that Iran launched at Israel just about a month ago. They could also point fingers at the United States and say that the United States has denied them for many years airplane and helicopter parts and that this accident was caused by that. But in reality, Arthel, the likely answer and the likely reason for this crash was the heavy fog that was in place when this helicopter went down in this mountainous forested region of the northern part of Iran.
Yeah, we're showing pictures of that, of the weather conditions there, and it's nighttime as well right now. So Iranian Supreme Leader Khamenei told his country there will be no disruptions to state affairs. So what does this mean for the Hamas-Israel war?
Well, the way the succession works in Iran is that if the supreme leader signs off, the first vice president, this is if the president is dead, the first vice president would come into power, Mohammad Mokbar. So there's a clear succession possibility here and capability. And of course, all the normal functions of government would continue even if the president were incapacitated. And Iran's support for Hamas is not going to stop. Hamas has expressed its concern for the potential accident, for the accident that's taken place. And so we'll see what happens going forward.
Pardon me, the White House has been briefed. EU officials offered emergency technology help at the crash site. How transparent can we expect the Supreme Leader to be regarding details surrounding this crash?
Well, probably not at all, because the Supreme Leader will want to protect those involved. In fact, if there was a problem within the Iranian government, at the same time, he may want to point fingers at Israel, at the United States. So I doubt we'll see a lot of transparency. We do know that Turkey has offered its support as well, a member of NATO, but perhaps one of the least reliable members of NATO right now for the United States, at least. They've sent 6 vehicles and a number of other capabilities, as well as a search and rescue helicopter to the site. So we know that there are some governments that are getting actively involved already as well.
And should we read into anything in terms of who's coming to Iran's aid?
Well, obviously, you've got surrounding countries in the region that have been supportive. You have seen a lot of countries that are not necessarily the biggest supporters of the United States express their condolences early and often in this case. And so it's not surprising. Raisi, the president of Iran, formerly the Chief Justice, not one of the most popular people in the West because of his overseeing of the suppression of the Mahsa Amini protests that took place just a few years ago, as well as his efforts as Chief Justice against protesters and sort of other folks, freedom fighters inside of Iran.
So you touched on this earlier. You kind of broke it down, and I'll repeat this. So the Supreme Leader holds ultimate power on and final say on foreign policy and Iran's nuclear programs. He is 85 years old. He's also, I understand, President Raisi's mentor. President Raisi is 63, and he's seen as a contender for Supreme Leader. Again, we have no idea if President Raisi perished in this crash, but you did mention that, orders of succession could very well be a topic of discussion in Iran right now. And there's nothing to read behind that, just that in the event of this is what has to happen.
That's exactly right, Arthur. We don't know the status of Raisi, the president of Iran, or the foreign minister who was on that plane as well. Number of other officials. We do know, at least from reports from Iran, that they have been in touch with a couple of people involved in the crash. So it sounds like there may be survivors. And they appear to also have potentially located the exact site of the crash because of cell phone signals. So they're on their way there. As you say, it's around midnight there in Iran. So we'll see if people have survived this crash and if, in fact, the president of Iran and the foreign minister have survived. And if not, there are policies and procedures in place for the succession of that individual.
Yeah, I raised that idea of any potential survivors with Trey Yangst earlier in the show, and he cannot confirm that at this point either. So as you said, it's very fluid, and it's we'll see how much information we're able to get. But in the meantime, I thank you, Jamil Jaffer, for lending your expertise as always. Thank you.